Boy, have some updates for you guys. There is some good, there is some bad, and you know there is some ugly. I know it's not our regularly scheduled video for a Sunday release. I figured I'd pop in and give you a quick little update, little midweek update, because I did say that I would keep up to date with you guys on my big box rescue rehabs. That's a mouthful. Maybe I need to shorten that. My rescue rehabs. So here they are. We're gonna start with the ugly just to get it out the way. And it was the one that I was most concerned about, and that is the Dieffenbachia. This is all we have left of it. Yeah, so I'll throw it up on the screen. I believe I have a stories that I posted where it came back to life. You guys saw how droopy it was in the first video when I picked it up, and so I put it into water because I was eventually I didn't know what I was going to do with it, but it perked up from being in water for a few days, and so I potted it into soil thinking that it was fine, and all the roots rotted. So here we are. This is all we have left. But I will say, even though it looks ugly, it's horrifying, especially this ugly algae water just tops it off. And mind you, I just changed this water not too long ago, but it's sitting right under my grow light, so it's gonna come back really fast. It has a bunch of new roots, so I'm not completely worried. I mean, I'm worried, but I'm not completely worried because it is growing roots actively. I think this one here, are you okay, Lulu? Or Mia? You're choking, are you okay, Mama? Okay. It has a new leaf growing on this little tiny piece here, and I thought this for sure was going to be a rotted goner. I thought it was going to die, and it's still here with new roots. So Mia, come here. Were you stepping on my come here, hold on, go ahead, come. I know you like to sit here. Go ahead. Don't cut us, don't interrupt us in the video and then you back out, okay? So this is how the Dieffenbachia is doing. It is the ugliest looking one. Actually, it's a tie between this one and the Miranda. It is pretty ugly, but it is actually very promising. So that's the first one. Second one is this Miranda. Now, I expected lots of crisping. I expected lots of brownie. I think I just didn't expect this much. It looks worse than what it looked like when I first brought it home. And yeah, I mean, from the beginning, it has been constantly putting out new leaves. There's a bunch of new little sprouts coming out down here. This is a new leaf. There's been tons of new little leaves here, but it's like for every leaf that crisps up and dies off, we get a new one, but it just seems to not be growing new leaves at the same rate that it's losing leaves. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna eventually obviously have to rearrange this so it doesn't look so ugly and bald. I don't know, maybe not, because all of these are putting out leaves here. I know these can be typically a little bit difficult, and which is why I previously never purchased one. I did, however, have a cutting that I think I removed accidentally. So I put it in water and it's doing fine. It's putting out new leaves as well, has a new root. Eventually I will pot it together. That is how this one is doing. I'm actually a little annoyed. I'm annoyed at myself for how, I mean, it had a lot of crunchy, ugly leaves when I first got it, but maybe I should have left more, but maybe more would have just crisped and fell off anyways. I don't know. Leave your best Miranda tips in the comments below. So these next few are doing absolutely amazing. This begonia is probably doing the absolute best. It has a ton of new leaves. I'm gonna be careful because I broke off one big beautiful leaf already. There was a new leaf. I was so upset. But these three here are beautifully new. This new one here, hopefully, because I'm not putting my hand behind it, you can still see it. Let's try and make sure you can get a good view of it. This one I think is the only one this might be the one that I broke the leaf off of. I'm not sure, I can't really tell, but it's the only one that hasn't really put out a leaf. But this thing is growing like a beast. I actually don't really see new roots. Oh, I don't know, I can't tell. Begonia roots are super, super fine. I don't see new roots there, maybe some tiny little ones, but obviously it is very happy putting out all of these new leaves. And I don't know what I'm gonna do with this because I'm pretty sure this is a cane begonia as well, and it grows like my Sinbad, which is really becoming a chore. So I can't deal with 2 king begonias. They just grow so wild, but it's doing amazing nonetheless. So probably soon, maybe next month, I'll probably be potting it up into a permanent substrate, which is probably gonna be semi-hydro since it is in chunky perlite. But this one is doing very well. The next is the Syngonium. This had a close call actually. It rehydrated just fine. I don't know why there's dust and fuzzies all over my plants, but there is. I guess because it's a little bit drier these days, but this one had a close call because I, of course, underwatered it and it was so drooped over. I was like, oh no, I hope I didn't kill this. So this is in the soil mix that I used, that I shared with you guys before. And I think it's my Stop Mixing soil mix. It's that out of the bag, really great, well draining soil. But Syngoniums are pretty resilient. It bounces back every time. It has new growth on it all the time. But I'm considering transitioning this to semi-hydro for sure. There's a bunch of new tiny little leaves growing in down there. But yeah, it's holding on even with my lack of watering. But I think in order to do it right, I need to just put it in semi-hydro for me. The last one, which y'all know this wasn't really a rehab. Y'all know I just wanted this plant. The Vikings is doing fine as well. It got, I don't know, it seemed like some leaves had a little bruising or something. I don't know. There's a bunch of little like nicks on it. I think we did lose 1 leaf. It was a larger leaf actually. I'm not sure if it was a lower leaf, but we did lose a leaf. But since then it's been fine. I haven't actually had any new growth and I'm a little surprised. I thought this would grow like a weed and would grow a lot more new leaves within this month. It hasn't. It is hanging in my wall planter, so possibly it needs more light, but I don't really, I mean, I could put it near more light, but it just looks so pretty hanging there. So, I mean, I do check it regularly, but no amazing new root growth and no amazing new leaves, but it still looks as good as ever. So that one is doing fine. So this is a quick video, but speaking of some updates, I wanted to quickly give you some updates on the plants that I propped with you guys last week, or maybe a couple of days ago by the time you have seen it, for my plant wall. So let's take a look at those. So this is where I'm keeping all my cuttings that I chopped with you guys to prep for my plant wall. Some of them are doing great and some of them are clearly not. That's the thing with this soil mix. I like using this little, it's not really soil. You guys know I kind of tried something new, but it's attracting little fungus gnats and stuff, which is really annoying because I have to keep it moist. Anywho, it's working really well for this Brazil with tons of cuttings in here. And as you can see, there is tons and tons of root growth in here. I think there's more on this side. Yeah, so these are doing really, really well. Happy with that. These look okay too. These did have some roots and some of them were single leaf. That one's not doing so hot, but I thought I saw roots in here. I can't tell, but ultimately the leaves themselves look good, so I'm not worried. These mandulas I was really worried about, but they feel really good. So give it a tug and it's definitely not going anywhere. So that looks really good. The other one in here from there, this question Caudata is not from there, it just fits there. But let me move this out the way. This here is doing pretty good. We did lose a leaf or two, I believe, but this is the one that had an aerial root already, but it's growing pretty well. There is some more roots down in there also. Oops, spilling stuff. So it's good, working good for this. Albo really well. Is not working so good with this Lanocardi. As you can see, if you guys remember, I put tons of leaf cuttings in here and this is what we have left. Only 1, possibly 2 survive. Looks like there's a new growth on, if it can focus, on that one there. These are barely alive and these are clearly dead. This mix is too dry. It doesn't, guys, I check on this. You see all this nasty gunky stuff here because I check on this daily and water it like every 2 to 3 days to make sure, even if it's moist down here but the top is dry, I still kind of spray it to sprinkle the top to keep it moist. But it still wasn't enough for this Lanocardi. So what I ended up doing, I emergency evacuated it and put it into water. So these are doing fine now because they're in water. They look terrible, but they're doing fine. And you may have noticed my pipers are not here. I lost most of them. I unfortunately lost most of them. I'll show you what I have left. So this is all, excuse my nails being not matching, but this is all I have left of this piper cutting. only one, and the leaf is still firm, but you can see the tip is like, I keep trying to, you know, keep it from rotting away, but still no root growth. Like, I just don't know how to successfully root these things. I've tried water, it didn't work. I tried soil, it didn't work. I haven't, this is perlite prop box. Maybe I just need to try a thing of perlite. I think it's just these vines are so skinny and thin that them holding on to water is like next to impossible. So this prop box is the only thing that has worked for it, and that's the only prop that I have left of it. So yeah. So that is all for this little quick pop in of this midweek updates. If you guys haven't caught the first part of this video, you can watch it here.